Hey everyone, welcome back to Spice Friends. I am Bridget. So today I want to talk to you about this guy named Edward Bloom. You may have heard of him or maybe you're not familiar with him. But this man has made a career out of dressing up his racism in legal briefs. So he hides behind words like fairness, reverse discrimination, color blindness, that type of foolishness. But what he really is doing is he's targeting black and brown communities. He's targeting our progresses at every turn. And basically, what Edward Bloom is a political operative. He's not an attorney. He or maybe poses as one, but what he does is he goes around and he gets people to front his lawsuits. So he organizes lawsuits to strip away our protections. How does he do that? So if you don't know who he is, he's the face behind the gutting of the affirmative action in college admissions. He's also the hand behind the Shelby v. Holder case. And if you're not familiar with that, that's the case that tore open the Voting Rights Act. It basically gutted it. So that opened the floodgates to more voter suppression, gerrymandering, hence where we are, what you see in Texas, just outright, openly, just going all at it, trying to make sure they can select who they want to vote for them. So that's what he does. And now, you know what he's doing? Now he's circling like a vulture. So he's coming after spaces like Kamehameha School. And if you're not familiar with Kamehameha is a school that's here in Hawaii. This school it was created by Princess Beatrice Tuahi, Bishop Bernice. So she created this school from her endowment. She's Hawaiian. And this school is rooted in cultural survival. It's reparative justice for the Native Hawaiians. And this school exists because the princess gave her entire estate to protect and to continue to spread the Hawaiian culture, their education. And she did this through her endowment. So this school is a very sacred and it is a highlight for the Hawaiian people. And her endowment is private. It's like, how are you coming after this endowment that's for specifically for the Hawaiian children, their education, to let them learn about the Hawaiian people who had to go through and endure a genocide because of colonialization. Hence, now you have the 50th state, which is Hawaii. So for Edward Bloom to come over here, even though he's based out of Virginia, and try to spit on this legacy the same way he did black institutions and black progress on the mainland, I mean, this isn't a coincidence. It's a racist attack on Hawaiian sovereignty and their identity. This is a coordinated effort from him and his ilk to erase their culture and erase any culture that they've never valued. And it's just so infuriating that it wouldn't, if it wasn't so terrible, it would be laughable. But it's just the things that these people are doing. Just I guess sometimes you just have to find a way to laugh it off because they keep from going crazy. And the fact that this piece of shit doesn't speak the language, he has no ties here, he doesn't understand the culture, he obviously don't care about her endowment, and for him to just want to come over here and impose his whitewashed idea of fairness so that he can pry open the doors of Kamehameha is that's nasty work right there. So this is simply them rebranding Jim Crow 2.0 or their idea of colonialism, the modernized version of colonialism. So his group, which is based out of Virginia, I mean, it's like they have no respect at all for the Native Hawaiians. And to just want to come over here and dismantle the way that they do business for their culture is just a strong slap in the face. And if you don't know the difference, um, if you're a resident of Hawaii, you can say, yeah, I live in Hawaii. But if you're a Kanaka, which is what the Native Hawaiians are, you are Hawaiian. That term is reserved for Native Hawaiians. It's understood here that Native Hawaiians can say all day, every day, I am Hawaiian. But everyone else that's not a descendant of the Native Hawaiian or the Kanakas, your Howleys or whatever, whatever they call you or whatever. But that is reserved strictly for Hawaiians. And for him to pinpoint and target the Hawaiian culture is just like, why? They've been through more than enough. There's not even a lot of Hawaiians left. And this guy is using the same old playbook to burn it all down. So their idea to tear down safe spaces and policies for certain people of color is what they do. And most often they're using people from other marginalized or minority groups to do their dirty work. And that's one of the sad things about this whole thing. Um, Equality for them means that everyone else, we lose our culture and we get flattened into their version of whiteness. Edward Blum is a white Jew. So he doesn't care about anything else. They're cultural arsonists. They don't build, they burn, they don't empower, they strictly erase. And that's what they're trying to do. And what's even crazier is he's not doing it by himself. He has other conservatives, which I personally think conservatives, which they got their start from racism and bigotry. Um, so other conservatives, the Heritage Foundation, Hello Project 2025, you have the Federalist Society, and you have the courts. So there are some within the courts that are just helping him notch his wins, and they're enabling him every step of the way. So the Supreme Court, the Supreme Court, the Roberts Court, by the way, gutted. He's been vocal since he was, a lawyer with the Reagan administration or the Bush administration. And he's been wanting to get rid of anything that dealt with affirmative action. And they'll say DEI, but they won't say DEIA, but they want to get rid of anything that levels the playing field. And they keep giving him, green lighting him with these wins. And he just keeps coming back and coming back because basically what they're saying is, go ahead, we got you. So they're not acting as referees, but they're acting as our accomplices. And they're reinforcing his crusades against our cultures. So he's calling it, making it equitable, but it's crazy because you're not. So he'll go around and he'll manipulate. Personally, I don't think he's manipulating some of these groups. I think some of these model minorities, they'll give a damn about the groups that they're fighting against. All they want is what they want, and they'll be more than happy to tear it all down too. And that's the reality. I think in my mind, that's the reality. So whether they are some from the Asian communities or they're women as the plaintiffs, they know that they're fronting these types of cases, and God knows the back conversations that they're having. I really don't know, don't care. But basically, he's pitting them against our communities, and he's ignoring the real reasons why we even have had affirmative action, DEI programs, and why Kamehameha came to be. And the fact that somebody would stand beside this guy, knowing that these communities have been through genocide, stolen labor, generational wealth gap, we've been locked out of jobs, we've been locked out of education, loans from banks, housing, just our basic safety. And he has no shame in doing what he's doing. He is not fighting for anything fair. He's weaponizing one community against another to protect the status quo of whiteness. And that's exactly what he's doing. The crazy part is that selective outrage. Notice that Blum, who's a white Jew, never goes after white protectionist policies. What do I mean by that? Well, you got a whole white separatist community out in the Ozarks. Hey, that should be easy pickings, right? That's low hanging fruit. Or how about legacy emissions? If you're so eager to get into fairness, that's not based off merit or anything. And who does it benefit? 70%, if not more, for white, rich, affluent communities. So there you go. Why isn't he fighting against Jewish organizations, Jewish institutions, these white prep academies who selectively select their students? He hasn't sued any one of those. And you know what? He's not going to. because they're not threatening his white dominance. They're cohesive with it. So his mission is selective, and it only targets group that threatens white supremacy. And that's not a coincidence, it's his racism. So if you remember the two black sisters that had the Fearless Fund, so because black people, period, have been locked out of getting funds, but specifically black women, even more so, they created this venture capitalist enterprise to where they would support these types of businesses. Well, lo and behold, who comes up out of his hole in the ground? Edward Blum. And who gets the win? Edward Blum. So no more Fearless Fund. And it's just like, wow, man, it's you can't win for losing. They always tell you, why can't you guys pull yourselves up by your bootstrap? Why are you always dependent on the government? Well, they want us to be dependent, they want us to be poor, and they want us to be invisible and powerless. That's what they want us to be. And so this is just their MO. They're taking the gloves off. It's no more being quiet about it. Ever since the rollout of the Donald Trump administration, they have been gung ho, guns blazing, to make sure we are put in a place where we are in submission. And then here's another quiet part. These groups that are sitting on the sideline watching as things like this occur. I guess in my mind, I don't know if they're saying to themselves, if we just keep quiet, maybe we won't become a target. Or, maybe they're like, well, it doesn't affect me, so maybe I shouldn't say anything. But I guarantee you, keep thinking that. So you just had the raid down in Georgia where they targeted Koreans. They weren't even here illegally. They were here to train. They wouldn't even, and it's like, they're going to come for you eventually. So you can sit on the sidelines and pretend that you're not directly impacted by the Fearless Fund, by the Kamehameha incident, or any other thing. But they will come for you. And so, excuse me, for you to sit on the sideline, whether you're Jewish and all this, you want to align with these folks because your silence is complicit, it's compliance. So aligning with them in the face of silence is still a direct assault on everyone else, because it's also seen as you're not an ally. So your silence today is not going to save you for tomorrow. And once all the bigger targets become fewer and far in between, you're going to be next. Guaranteed, you're going to be next. They're going to come for you. See, us black folks, one thing that we know is we're always on the menu until they can get us to where they're satisfied with where they put us. But we're not going to go quietly in the night. They've always come for our programs, our land, our people, our entrepreneurship, our intellectual property, our progress. As long as we've been here in America, it's been in their bloodlines. It's the fabric of America to tear down the black folk. Without black folks, there is no white folks. As long as you are entertaining them, however, whether that's in college sports or in professional sports, they're not going to bother you. There's no DEI. There's no issue. All you have to do, as Laura Ingraham said, is shut up and dribble. That's all you got to do. They're not going to come for you, at least not yet. So that's the crazy part. They're selective in who they want to target. But believe it or not, they're going to come for you eventually. As far as Edward Blum, though, he is not. No, he never fight for fairness. What he's fighting for is to ensure that white supremacy is upheld, and whether that's anti-blackness, anti-Hawaiianism, whatever that is, he's going to cloak it in legal jargon, ignorance, and whatever else. And as long as we got this Roberts Courts, this 6-3, they're going to continue to erase affirmative action. They're going to continue to gut things like Voting Rights Act. They're going to continue to put anything that we've made in the Great Society on life support, if not wipe it out entirely. Whatever case precedents there are, they may not even be standing any longer. So if you think being quiet is going to save you, it will not. Right now, you got Trump going against the Smithsonian, African American Museum under the Smithsonian. Notice they're not going after any other museums. The Holocaust did not even happen on American soil. They're not going against anything like that, are they? Nope. And they're not going to, because it's a part of the dominance that they're trying to achieve. And the worst part is he wants us, smaller groups, minority and marginalized groups, continue to fight each other so that he can sit back and smirk and do less work. But understand this, as far as my people, we're not going to be quiet. So keep celebrating us, keep upholding things and people like Spice Bronze, keep doing the boycott that started 1 September. If you're not doing it, you should be doing it, because we're not going to go quietly and you're not going to erase us. We built this bitch. And our work, our fingerprints are not going to be erased because we ain't going nowhere. So all you Christopher Rufos, you Edward Blums, you doofus Trumps, you racist judges, you can keep trying. But the harder you fight, the harder we're going to fight. So in the meantime, and in between time, make sure you continue to come back to Spice Bronze. You continue to drop your comments in the comment section, and I will keep you posted on anything that I know about the Kamehameha incident.